Welcome to The Explainer. I'm really glad you're here. Today, we're diving into something that's incredibly close to the hearts of so many families, and that is raising a neurodiverse child. You know, parenting is already a profound journey, but when your child's brain is wired just a little bit differently, well, it becomes a completely unique adventure. It's one that's rich with incredible strengths, totally fresh perspectives, and yes, very specific needs. So let's just get right into it. Our goal today is to walk through a compassionate, practical guide to neurodiversity-affirming parenting. We really want to empower you with insights and tools that actually work for your child, helping them flourish entirely on their own terms.
So, what if we viewed neurodiversity not as a deficit, but as a completely unique lens on the world? Think about that for a second. This is really where our whole journey begins, because it requires a fundamental shift in how we see things. Neurodiversity is literally just a natural variation in the human brain. When we approach parenting from this affirming perspective, we stop trying to force our kids to conform to, neurotypical norms. Instead, we recognize and totally value their unique way of thinking, feeling, and interacting with their environment. We adapt the world to them rather than demanding they adapt to it.
Section 1. Embracing the journey. Understanding your child's unique world.
To truly connect with and support your child, we have to look past the surface behaviors and actually step directly into their shoes. We need to ask ourselves, what does their sensory world actually feel like? Because a lot of neurodiverse children process the world through a vastly different sensory filter than you or I might. To them, the hum of a refrigerator might sound like a roaring engine. The tag on a shirt, that might literally feel like sandpaper, or a brightly lit grocery store might honestly feel physically painful. Some children are highly sensitive and need way less input, while others are understimulated and constantly seek out more intense input. Getting a handle on your child's individual sensory profile is absolutely crucial.
To really understand sensory seeking, we need to look at a couple of senses you probably don't think about every day. Take proprioception, for example. This is our body awareness sense. It's what tells us exactly where our body parts are in space without us even having to look at them. If your child is constantly seeking proprioceptive input, you're going to notice them doing things like intentionally crashing into pillows, giving incredibly tight bear hugs, or just seeking out heavy work activities like pushing a totally full laundry basket across the room. They are literally craving deep pressure to help their brain understand exactly where their body is.
And then we have the vestibular sense. This is the sense related to balance and movement, and it's actually controlled by the inner ear. So a child seeking vestibular input might be the one who absolutely loves to spin in circles for minutes on end, swing as high as they possibly can, or just bounce endlessly on a trampoline. For them, this kind of movement isn't just play. It's a vital biological need that actually helps regulate their nervous system. But on the flip side, some kids find these exact same movements incredibly disorienting and will avoid them at all costs.
Section 2. Creating a predictable world. The power of structure. Once we kind of grasp our child's sensory needs, our next step is to build a supportive ecosystem right around them. You see, for a child with sensory processing differences, the world can feel incredibly chaotic. And structure is how we bring that chaos down to a manageable level. One of the absolute hardest parts of any day is transitions. Just shifting from playtime to dinner or moving from home to school can cause immense anxiety. So here is a super simple 3-step transition routine you can try. Step 1. Give a verbal and a visual warning, like setting a 5-minute visual timer. Step 2. Offer a transition object. This is just a favorite small toy or comfort item they can hold on to as a bridge between the two activities. And Step 3. Use a first/then board. Like first we put on our shoes, then we get in the car. Interestingly enough, families already using Bright Kids AI are actually using personalized songs as transition anchors here. Having a specific familiar song that uses the child's own name signals exactly what's happening next, and it cuts through the noise far better than just a generic verbal cue.
But the absolute most crucial point here is this. Consistency across all caregivers provides stability and reinforces those learned strategies. Whether we're talking about co-parents, grandparents, teachers, or therapists, you really need a united front. When everyone understands the child's sensory profile and uses those exact same transition routines, it drastically reduces the child's anxiety. Why? Because they know exactly what to expect, no matter who they're interacting with.
Section 3. Bridging the communication gap. Connecting beyond words.
Communication is, of course, a two-way street. But for neurodiverse kids, that traditional verbal back and forth just isn't always the most effective path. We really have to adapt our own style to unlock a deeper understanding. So, when you're trying to bridge this gap, using clear, direct language without any sarcasm or metaphors is key. Just say exactly what you mean. Also, try giving just one single instruction at a time to prevent cognitive overload. You can utilize visual supports like picture exchange systems or even AAC devices, which are amazing for providing a voice to minimally speaking children. And finally, just remember that listening isn't only about words, it's about observing their body language and truly validating their feelings. Even if you have absolutely no idea why they're upset, just saying something like, "Hey, I see you're feeling really frustrated right now, and that is totally okay," goes an incredibly long way.
Section 4. Navigating Big Emotions, Co-regulation and Connection.
Emotional regulation is a learned skill. It is definitely not an automatic given. When your child's nervous system is totally flooded, they literally cannot self-regulate. They need you to step in and lend them your calm. To actually put this into practice, we're seeing a lot of families utilizing tools like the MyStars visual check-in from Bright Kids AI. It's built around 4 simple states. You've got the violet, sleepy star for low energy, the teal, bright star for when they're calm and ready to go, the amber, zoom star for that buzzing high energy, and the orange, big boom for when they are just completely overwhelmed. What's great is that it completely removes the need for complex emotional vocabulary in the heat of the moment. The goal isn't necessarily to fix the state right then and there, but simply to name it, because as we know, named feelings are just so much easier to work with.
In this proactive approach, it honestly marks the difference between just surviving and actually thriving. On one side, we have reacting to isolated outbursts in the moment, which, let's be real, is exhausting. But on the other side, we have proactively adapting the environment using pattern recognition. Tools like the Bright Kids AI Weekly Brief actually show parents a visual breakdown of those star states over time. So you stop seeing these isolated meltdowns and you start seeing the patterns. Like, oh wow, a big boom almost always happens right after school on Tuesdays. Once you can see that pattern, you can act on it before the meltdown even has a chance to happen.
As one parent brilliantly shared, MyStars gives my child a simple visual way to express their state. Looking at the weekly brief helps me proactively adapt our environment rather than just reacting. And that is exactly what neurodiversity-affirming parenting looks like in everyday practice. It's all about gathering data with empathy and then adapting the world to fit the child.
Now, let's move on to a deeply joyful part of this whole journey, viewing special interests as superpowers. A lot of neurodiverse children have these incredibly intense passions, and the secret here is, don't view these as distractions, view them as actual pathways. Try integrating them into learning or even everyday chores. For example, if your child is obsessed with trains, do math with trains. Engage with whatever they love to build that rapport. We've seen families use personalized stories here, like the ones in Bright Kids AI, that literally weave the child's exact special interests into a book where they get to be the hero. Seeing themselves represented not as a problem that needs solving, but as a hero doing what they absolutely love, builds profound self-esteem and just demonstrates unconditional acceptance.
Section 5. Caring for the caregiver. You matter too.
We really can't talk about raising a neurodiverse child without talking about you, the parent, the guide, their safe harbor. You really have to remember this. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Prioritizing your own well-being is absolutely not selfish. It's literally essential for your capacity to support your child. Parenting a neurodiverse child is incredibly demanding. It is okay to admit that out loud, and it is more than okay to seek support. That's actually exactly why the Bright Kids platform includes Jenny, which is a warm, conversational AI guide specifically for parents. It's there to offer a quick, totally non-judgmental suggestion at, 10 p.m. when you are just completely out of ideas, because you need a solid support system just as much as your child does.
Which brings us right to our final thought. What is one small grace or just a brief moment of rest that you can give yourself today? Parenting a neurodiverse child is this ongoing journey of continuous learning and just immense, immense love. By embracing their totally unique mind, building up a predictable world around them, and crucially, offering yourself some real compassion, your entire family can truly thrive. So, take a deep breath, take a moment for yourself, and keep moving forward. Thank you so much for learning with us today.